What's going on, everyone? It's Tramel from Progressive Action, and I was waiting for the day that this administration put Richie Davis on video selling his contract. Now, this segment is not going to be too much about what he's saying. We're going to rebut that anyway, but it's going to be more about Richie Davis's body language. Now, everyone who knows me on a personal level knows that I am a scholar when it comes to psychology and when it comes to body language. When I was in college for it a few years ago to get my bachelor's degree, I excelled in that study, effortlessly excelled in it, right? I basically went to school to learn the terminologies. I was already gifted with knowing psychology, right? Without a doubt. And I want you guys to pay attention to his body language during the video, right? But first, I'm going to play the video regular to dispute what he's saying about the contract. And that's going to be short, but let's get into it.
Another added item for the COVID families, 110 COVID families passed away. The medical coverage was dropped 2 months ago. We now cover those people for the life of this contract. The children and the spouses didn't have medical coverage, and they called and said, could we help? So we negotiate that part in the contract in order not to forget about the people who died here during COVID. So their families, spouses, and children are now covered. Another additional benefit is the autistic therapy, the ABA therapy, and that's a very, very, very expensive therapy that it can cost a parent anywhere between $600 to $1,500 a month out of pocket expense, which we didn't cover before. That therapy will be for linguistics, speech, motor skills, things that will help the child function as much normally as you can.
Now, as you seen in his video, he was talking about contract gains. The first contract gain he spoke on was medical coverage for our deceased workers' families. Not against that, but it affects a very small portion of the membership. I think they said like 110, 120 families. This is a membership of about 43,000 people. The second thing that he mentioned was the ABA therapy, right? So our coworkers who have autistic children can get further services. I am not against that, but it affects a very small, minute portion of the membership. And if this was truly a strong union, they could have gotten that without giving something up. Now, what I want you guys to really focus on is when he's talking, his body language. I want you guys to pay attention to what he's doing with his feet. Check it out.
Another added item for the COVID families, 110 COVID families passed away. The medical coverage was dropped 2 months ago. We now cover those people for the life of this contract. The children and the spouses didn't have medical coverage, and they called and said, could we help? So we negotiate that part in the contract in order not to forget about the people who died here during COVID. So their families, spouses, and children are now covered. Another additional benefit is the autistic therapy, the ABA therapy, and that's a very, very, very expensive therapy that it can cost a parent anywhere between $600 to $1,500 a month out of pocket expense, which we didn't cover before. That therapy will be for linguistics, speech, motor skills, things that will help the child function as much normally as you can.
Now, let's look into a few articles and studies regarding feet movement and liars. Check it out. One article I found says, this is the body taking over, Glass explained. Shuffling feet tells you that the potential liar is uncomfortable and nervous. It also shows you that he or she wants to leave the situation. They want to walk away, she says. A study I found says Ekman and Friesen, 1969, suggested that a fertile field for lying research would be in the ways in which foot and leg movements betray lying. Most people learn to control speech patterns and facial movements in social situations. Even the hands are carefully monitored to that no obvious movements will correlate with a lie. But the feet and legs are pretty much out of sight and out of consciousness, and therefore may more accurately portray the emotions that are involved with lying. Another article I found in the Times says itching and fidgeting. Rocking the body back and forth, cocking the head to the side, or shuffling the feet can also be signs of deception, says Glass, who completed a postdoctoral fellowship at UCLA focusing on psychology and verbal and nonverbal communication. Whenever you have seen Richie Davis speak in person, he does that thing with his feet that we seen in the video. He cock his legs back and forth, and he does this all the time when he's trying to sell you something or when he's trying to convince you to do something. Sometimes it's not about what a person say. Sometimes it's about the nonverbal communication, and that nonverbal communication says a lot. And according to Mr. Happy Feet, he is lying. And I want to ask you guys, where is the lie? Make sure to like and subscribe and join the channel. Catch you guys later. Peace.